This is a story about a fella who had a really strange experience in northern Minnesota. And hey, I just happened to be up in the location and heard the story firsthand. A couple friends of mine brought me out to the location. It was that old deer camp. It had been there for a while. And the hunter had passed this old deer camp back in the woods on the way to his hunting stand. And I was able to hear the story from him. And when I did, I mean, his eyes were wide. He was talking real fast. And I could tell that this guy had really been affected by this strange occurrence. But he says there was nothing interesting to note of the old deer camp on the first 2 days. Nothing of interest to see in the daylight, other than it appeared that nobody had been there for a long time. There was a small cabin, maybe a 10 by 10 at most, sitting on metal skids, heavy metal skids, on the edge of the woods, a wood pile right by it. Lots of pine needles on there, hadn't been touched in a while. There was a table, like a metal table about 10 feet away, and some old chairs strewn about. And on the table, there was 2 garden solar lights that seemed to fit the hunter's frightful story. But in the end, they did not. 2 days he walked that trail and hunted on the stand without incident. No lights, no sounds, no nothing at the deer camp, just a quiet space. But on the 3rd afternoon, while he was up in the deer stand, he could hear people stacking wood. And thinking about it, he's like, well, there's a chain way back on the road that's going across. There's a lock on it. It must be the owners of the deer camp, the owners of the property, and they are up there sprucing up the place, getting ready for the hunting season. And he could hear the sounds. They were working at it for some time, but towards dusk things did finally quiet down. And having not seen a bear that afternoon, he got down from the stand and headed back down the trail towards the old deer camp. But this time, as he neared the old cabin, the old deer camp, he couldn't help but notice that there was a light, a lantern, as he described it, sitting on the table. And of course he was questioned, are you sure you didn't see light off these garden solar lights? And he says, no, I could clearly see a lantern was sitting atop that table. And if, like I say, if it would have been the garden lights, they didn't come on the 2 nights before. And all 3 days were sunny and identical. So those lights certainly would have shone on the first 2 nights. But they didn't. But like I said, he saw what he referred to as a lantern sitting on the table. But he's looking, he's observing the scene. He's like, there's no lights on in the cabin. There's no vehicles parked there. There's no tracks in the grass. There's no freshly stacked wood. There's not actually anybody around. There's not a single sound to be had. He might have called out to see if anyone was around, but for the fear that an estranged voice might answer him. So he didn't, and he quickly headed back to his truck. And the next day, one of the guys I knew, they called the owners of the property to say, hey, was anybody up there? They said, nope, we weren't there. Nobody was there. We didn't give permission to anybody to be there. So the guy I knew, he went up there himself just to make sure that nothing had been messed with. And he too, the chain's still there, still locked up. There's no vehicle tracks. There's no sign of anything at the old deer camp. And the next day after, I went up there. Because they were like, something really strange happened. Maybe you should take a look at the place. I said, okay. And we drove up there. Same thing. We looked around for telltale signs of teenagers, which would have been, the thought that somebody might have been up there. Maybe there'd be some beer cans, candy wrappers, different things laying around. Again, absolutely nothing. But I tell you what, I did feel some electrical magnetic energy at the place. It was so heavy that my ears felt like I was coming down off of a mountain. I mean, it just was kind of almost deaf. It was just, I'm not sure what it was. There was no lantern there now anymore. Whatever he had seen was long gone. But in the end, this is one of many, many strange and unexplainable stories of the Northwoods, and stories I enjoy telling. And I usually tell the ones that I get called there because people want me to check it out. Those are generally the stories I tell, but there's thousands more, thousands, and I enjoy hearing them. So, I mean, if you have a story, you got something you want the Search for Spirits team to check out, hey, let us know. We'll definitely come check it out. And hey, please hit the like and subscribe if you like this kind of stuff, to let me know that, hey, Russ, make more of these videos. We like them. And I'll keep making them. I have all kinds of nice stories like this and experiences that I just would love to tell. So let me know. I thank you very much for watching today, and you have a great day.